Good morning and grand rising to all of you out there. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co host, Trey Holiday. And as y'all can see, I get to be in Big O's seat today. Big O is at the Salisbury Studios. Let's bring in my guy, Big O. What up, Big O?
Man, this is like relaxed. This really is a feel good Friday right now. Like
Right.
I might have
You
just
already
woke up
feeling
again, to
good?
be honest with you. How are you?
I am good, man. Just came from the dentist. They got me in and out of there on time. Mouth feeling real clean. So I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, you looking clean too, Trey Holiday.
Thank you.
Man, we got a full show here today. We've got Council Member Strauss, D6 Dan, in the building. We've got Paula Sardinas. Paula Sardinas is going to give us an update from what's going on down in Olympia. We've also got Dre's with Building Black Wealth TV. And you got somebody camped out in the studio right now, don't you?
You know it, man. Had to bring him back once again for Feel Good Friday. Our guy, DJ Topspin. What up, Top?
What's happening, Treyano? Good morning, Big O. Top of the morning, as it were.
Yeah.
You're adding a lot of color to the set, man.
Spring is springing, so I'm gonna do it up here.
Right.
All right, well, let's jump right into it. So, Alia D'Alessandro, can you please bring in Council Member Dan Strauss from District 6?
Hey, good morning, Trey. Good morning, Omari.
Good morning, Council Member Strauss.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, this is like the most anticipated Feel Good Friday. We had all this hype about you earlier in the week. I misread an email like, yeah, Councilmember Strauss is going to be here this morning. And the staff called me and was like, no, it's Friday. And so we've been waiting the whole week to talk to you about your Bringing Business Home program.
Well, I've been looking forward to it all week. I almost stepped out of committee to join you on Tuesday, but it was probably better that Councilmember Mosqueda would have been upset if I had left committee all of a sudden.
Well, also, it's Feel Good Friday, and we're talking about trying to develop business here in this time of COVID. That's definitely a feel good issue. Let me bring up this motion graphic. Strauss Gonzalez introduced Bringing Business Home, bill to create flexibility for small businesses during the pandemic. And this was actually published over there on February 22nd. Council Member Strauss, please tell us, what is Bringing Business Home all about?
It is about reducing barriers in our land use code. So separate from zoning, we're talking just about the land use code. And when enforcement is taken on businesses, home occupation businesses, there are a couple provisions of the land use code that are a little bit subjective. They're not exactly clear on how or what it is defining. So what a home looks like, maybe also traffic impacts. So there's a couple different things that this bill does so that businesses who are operating out of their home are able to do so. It provides flexibility. Now, businesses operating out of their homes are already regulated by a host of different levels of government. If it's a kitchen, you've got public health. If it is a bar, you've got the Liquor Control Board and public health. If you are a licensed massage therapist, there's different regulations, mental health therapists. So all of these different businesses have regulations and regulatory bodies in place. Now, if you're operating out of your home and you're operating out of your garage, currently, so let's say a licensed massage therapist has their space set up in their garage. Under today's code, they could, if somebody complained and a complaint was filed, SDCI could shut them down because the garage is supposed to be used for the car. Now, we all know some of the most successful businesses in our country were born out of garages. And so what we need to do is provide the flexibility, especially during this moment in this pandemic, to allow businesses to operate and be successful so that when people come back downtown to their office buildings, we're able to have businesses return to those storefronts so that in this moment, we're able to support entrepreneurs to be successful once we come out of this pandemic.
Right. And so basically what I hear you saying is there are already people, you can operate a business out of the home. Right now it's I don't know if let's say highly regulated, but there are definitely regulations around it. And what you seek to do is loosen the regulations so more people can take advantage of opening a business at home. I had a few questions for you. Um, it, how do you think that this is going to continue beyond COVID? Like you said, a lot of people started business in the garage. Marcus Harrison Green started the South Seattle Emerald in his mama's garage. But do you see this as something that's going to continue once like things, I guess, return back to normal?
So yes and no. We're going to see in the bill we have a work plan set out that would take a number of months to understand what is working well within this bill, what might not have been working well within this bill. Did we miss something that important that needs to be included, or did we include something that shouldn't be included? So my bill with Council President Gonzalez and Councilmember Mosqueda, our bill will provide this flexibility for a 1-year period of time. Within that 1-year period of time, there's a work plan set out to engage stakeholders, ensure that to take a look back on what's working well, what's not working well, and then from there we would create permanent regulations if it's needed.
Right. Trey Holiday?
Yeah, well, I mean, my question to you, council member, is, how do you think that this will affect, minority, and I mean Black businesses? We've been seeing a huge hit in the Black business sector due to COVID, and these regulations may, actually open some things up. But I wonder if you guys have done any projections around how this may impact Black businesses.
Trey, great question. We haven't done any projections. What we can say is that this helps ensure that businesses that are operating out of their home, whether they're Black or owned by anyone, are not subjected to enforcement that is subjective. So I'm sorry to use that word twice. What I mean by that is if somebody was using their garage to start a newspaper and the neighbor didn't like the newspaper, they could have called in a complaint and said, this garage is not being used for a car and you can't do that. And what this bill does is it ensures that there is not a subjective enforcement of our neighbors who are just trying to survive and our entrepreneurs who are looking to thrive.
I have one more question actually too, because I know that a lot of zoning regulations actually make it harder for folks to do certain types of businesses in their homes. Will this new legislation and regulation, will this be kind of combative to that? Will it be complementary? How do you guys see it working with some of those zoning laws that are already in place?
So I would say it's complementary, right? So what this bill does not change is, limitations on noise, odor, light, or glare. So if a coffee roaster was operating out of someone's garage and the neighbor didn't like the smell of coffee, I wouldn't understand it. That said, they could still, file a complaint and that coffee roaster would be shut down. So this doesn't change any zoning at all across the board. What it does do is it ensures that there's not neighbors can't complain on each other for things that we know during COVID we need to be more flexible with. So in neighborhood commercial, there's different rules. In single family zones, there are different rules. And then from the zoning, then there's code. And so this does change some of the land use code to allow that flexibility. So we're not really touching zoning. What we are touching is the code that's enforced within those different zones.
Right. And where are you guys at in this process now? I saw February 22nd is when this was published. Council President Gonzalez sponsored this. Is this legislation or is this an ordinance?
Legislation and ordinance. So legislation could either be a resolution, which is non-binding. This is an ordinance, so a law that is needed to be changed. So we've got another committee hearing coming up next week, March 10th. 9:30 a.m. It'll be the second committee hearing. So far in this process, we introduced the bill, spoke to it at council briefing, had a meeting at my committee, Land Use and Neighborhoods. Councilmember Juarez, Councilmember Peterson asked some tough questions. We had some good answers. We will bring this bill back to committee next week, Wednesday, March 10th. And then from there, we will send it to the full council. And then fingers crossed, we're going to pass it out of full council.
Right. And you speak of Councilmember Juarez. Before we let you go here, Councilmember Juarez talked about maybe selling fry bread out of her garage. So this would now fit underneath that ordinance. And if so, if the ordinance passes, would you go and buy some fry bread from Councilmember Juarez?
I already put in my order for 5 orders of fry bread from Councilmember Juarez. that said, this brings up a really important point, which is for a commercial kitchen to operate out of a garage, you would have to set up a commercial kitchen. You would then have to have that commercial kitchen certified by public health. And then from there, again, if there is noise or odor that is bothering the neighbors, that is still an enforceable policy, even if bringing business home is passed. So I bring that up because for a lot of people who are trying to start up a kitchen, there are a lot of commercial kitchens that are already certified with Department of Health that they could rent, and that might be a cheaper option than buying every single piece of commercial kitchen equipment.
All right. Anything else for the council member, Triana?
This is great information. We're rooting for this to pass because we know that we need to loosen the regulations. And I just got to say this because you really made a really huge point here that oftentimes it is due to neighbor complaints that a lot of these things kind of go with more and more restrictions. So I thank you for that. I'm going to, urge all of our neighbors to be a little bit more kind during this COVID time as people are trying to start businesses.
Right.
Yeah. This is meant to make neighborhoods more vibrant.
There we go.
Councilmember Strauss, it's Feel Good Friday, so we've definitely kept it on topic here about bringing business home. I hope that you'll come back and join us. There's definitely some other issues in the city, and we want to get your feedback and your input on some of the ways and the direction that the city is going. So you're very welcome back here on the Morning Update Show, and I hope that we can continue the conversation.
I'd love to be back, Omari. And just last point for Feel Good Friday, I want to give a shout out and thank you to our educators, the people who have made us who we are today. I know you and I, Omari, share a teacher. For me, it was Principal Barbara Nielsen. I wouldn't be the person I am today without her, and just wanted to say thank you to her.
Oh, man, you done got all the points today. Big shout out to Barbara Nielsen, my elementary school teacher and your principal. Thank you so much for joining us, Councilmember Strauss. Have a wonderful weekend.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Trey Holiday. Councilmember Strauss, huh?
There we go. I mean, I think that it's really key right now that our city and really our state can kind of learn from some of these progressive measures that Seattle is trying to pass during COVID. Man, businesses need all the help they can get right now.
Man, all I know is we got a lot of entrepreneurs in our community, and if they can operate out of the home without all the people been operating out the home like since we was kids, whether it was legal or not, I don't know. But if people can legally operate, out of their home right now, I definitely think that'd be a good thing. We're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we're getting all the scoop from down there at the state capitol from Paula Sardinas. You are watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us. Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. And I'm on the
Good Friday.
Right, you over there in the studio.
Feeling real good in your place over here. Oh, it's real nice and comfy.
All right, good stuff. Excited about our next guest. Been going back and forth on email with Paula Sardinas since last year. Paula's part of the Washington Build Back Black Alliance, and they've been down there in Olympia, man, pushing the agenda. Oh yeah, please bring in Paula.
Good morning.
Hi, Paula.
I was vibing. The music was good. Hey, Trey. Hey, Omari. How are you doing?
Doing well. Happy Friday.
Hey.
It's
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, no, it is a good Friday. I love coming on shows like this because I think ultimately we are accountable to the Black community and we need to be taking these questions and sharing information. So let's get it popping, Omari. Let's get it popping.
Well, let's go. Let's get it popping. All right. First up, I think that there's at least in my mind, I kind of got two threads of questions for you as to what's going on in Olympia. One is things that impact as far as like our community's economic development, and investment, and things like that. And the other is there's a lot of legislation down there around police reform and accountability. So I'll leave it up to you. Where do you want to start?
I think we got to start at what is the heart of driving our interaction with police, gentrification. Like, what does it mean to be a whole Black person? And so being Black from Florida, where we have a very large, robust Black population, it's economic opportunity for me. If you don't rebuild the Black community, and if you don't make sure that we have those dollars in the Black community, we're going to be hungry. We're not going to be well educated. We're going to continue to have interactions with the police. And so we went into session to give you some background on the Build Back Black Alliance. It's actually something that I have been working on for 30 years before I moved to Washington. It's been a vision of mine and my husband that started with that large Black caucus in Florida. And it was basically about how can we bring together the Black community so we can share in ideas, share in tools, create policy that moves the community, in one direction, from young activists and advocates to lobbyists to business people to the guy that's just like hanging, out on the corner doing his thing, right? We're all Black. And so we're working on a lot of things, Omari, from a climate change package that'll have, $650 million going to transportation, $450 million going to overburdened communities like Soto and the CD, to making sure that we get our share of dollars in a capital budget, investing in Black-led nonprofits or Black organizations that aren't even formed so that they can be, doing the people's business on the ground.
Right. And what kind of success are you finding down there in Olympia thus far, when you talk about this type of legislation? Like what's out there? What's being discussed? Is it moving forward? Is there lots of objections?
I'll just be, I'll keep it 100 with you. I've been doing this for 30 years. People don't tell me no. And so everything we've asked for in the budget is in the budget. Everything we've asked for in some of these big packages, as far as looking at transportation through the lens of equity, it's there. Cutting the deals that move some of those dollars and then looking at how you can have Black contractors pull down the dollars is there. I think when you have the proven experience and you've passed a lot of bills, because I got my trophy wall on the left and the right, people know who they can say no to and they know who they can't. People tell me no.
Hey, now, there we go. Black woman magic, putting it on that.
And Trey and I was going to come, I was like, and I love that you segue into that, right? Like, I started in this business as an 18-year-old Black mother, who, the state had given me two choices. It was either you could apply for welfare or go to school. And so I was divorced and working with my son and wanted to go to school, but they didn't provide any childcare subsidies for me, and I struggled. So I used to go down to the city council every day and just sign in. And somebody white asked me one day, they said, "Are you a lobbyist?" I was like, "No, I'm just a mom. I need help." And so he said, "If we give you this subsidy, will you please stop coming down here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just want you to cover parents who are not on welfare, but they still need help." And he told me, he was like, "Well, you should be a lobbyist because you're very good at it." And so this has been a lifelong dream and passion, is using our voice to uplift our community. And I want to say, whether it's our Black member caucus, our member of color caucus, or, just the Democratic Party in general, when Black men and women come before you and tell you what's impactful to the community and we're using our voices, we're not angry. We don't have attitudes. We're not mean. We're oppressed, we're assertive, and we're direct. And we've put in enough time with 401 years of free labor in this country where we're not going to ask you to give us what you've taken. We're going to tell you and work with you on how you do it.
There we go. Oh, that brings me so much joy on this amazing Feel Good Friday. I really thank you for setting the tone in that regard. And one of my questions I have for you is, when you talk about the investments that are needed into the community groups on the ground, those that are really working inside a community to bring real sustainable solutions, how do you see, this kind of, a lot of the time the trickle down doesn't actually trickle down. How are we going to make sure that that's not the case with a lot of the legislation you guys are pushing?
I'm going to come on this show like I was telling Joy. Amari, you and Trey can call me every weekend for accountability. Trickle down doesn't work. That's a Ronald Reagan principle. It needs to trickle up. And you have to look at organizations, even like some of the ones that belong to the Alliance. And we have to ask ourselves, if the dollars aren't trickling down, well, what is the level of accountability? Call us out. We need to be talking to your show. We need to be talking to your listeners. We need to be talking to young people and saying, if you are with Feast, if you are with Wild Tri-Cities, these little organizations that you have never heard of, what do you need? What access do you need? And how can we help you? And when I hear from people like that access isn't being provided, then Trey, I get on this. I start snapping people's heads off and going, this is the warning shot. The next time, it's not going to be so nice. Put those dollars in the hands of young organizations and young entities that need it. Pass the baton, share the resources. If we're not doing that, we simply need to be held accountable, and there has to be more accountability.
Right. And do you think that, I think this is probably the right tone to be down there in the legislature. Well, when Governor Inslee, when he finishes this term, Democrats would have been in power in Olympia for almost 4 decades. Democrats have been in power in Seattle for 30 years. And, during that time, we've seen the constant decline of Black people as far as, the income, the average income. We've seen a clear decline in home ownership, which is a direct speaks directly to generational wealth. And we've also seen the education gap. So, I mean, the Democrats have been down there running the show for all these years. I mean, what's going to change? Is it this position? I hear you down there. You're like, yo, man, we're bringing the pain. But do you really think that we can get impactful change from the State House that is really going to impact on the street level?
I do. And Amari, that's such a smart question. This is what I tell people. I don't vote against my own interests, and I don't care if you're a D or you're R. We lobby all 4 caucuses. We have a strong relationship with J.T. Wilcox, who's the minority leader of the House. We spent over 2 hours talking to Senator Braun, who is the minority leader in the Senate, who took over from Mark Schessler. So this is what I tell the community. There's 3 prongs to this stool. There are activists, usually folks that are protesting around a cause that sometimes don't get activated until there's a loss of Black life, okay? There are advocates. Those are the people that have specific causes that they work on year-round, and they're important to the community. And then there are lobbyists. These are usually people who are paid to influence politicians. We work on campaigns. We work at every level of government. They have kept these entities separate. WBBA brings them together. We need to listen to the activists, and we need to hear all of their voices and their passion and what was going on in the street. We need to marry that to advocates who have years of experience with certain causes. And then we need to go to the lobbyists and say, okay, so how do we build that into an agenda? And what I would say is I retire people who don't support the causes that I care for, and I don't give a damn if you're Republican or Democrat. If you are not voting with me, you're voting against me, and we have the ability to send you home. Lawmakers are supposed to be for the people, by the people. They are the people's representatives. If someone doesn't represent you, on average, it is 15,001 doors knocked or calls made to send someone home. I do campaigns, I know that number. Start looking at your elected representatives and holding them accountable. And if you have 15,001 people calling their office and calling their constituents, you will change the way that they vote.
Whoa. I love everything that you are saying on here this morning. I just gotta tell you, I'm gonna be building a relationship with you because you're talking about the real here. One of my questions is literally what you're just describing there. What I've been saying here on this platform, I just want to hear your perspective on this, is that we actually have to see ourselves as a part of the solution. That's what you're talking about there when you're talking about holding our electeds accountable, being able to knock on those 15,000 doors. I mean, it is also, there's parts that we need to really play in this as individual citizens of this state, right?
Trey, we need to use our voice, and I'll give you a specific example. So I'm from Florida, and I can tell you 9 years ago, Trayvon Martin died. My son is 18. I knew what it was like as a parent to go remove his hoodie. And before my heart could heal, Lucy Macbeth lost her son, Jordan Davis. Well, one of the things that Lucy said is, I'm not just going to be a member of the Broken Hearted Mother Club. Florida was a red state. We had tried to change Stand Your Ground. She moved back to her home state of Georgia. She is now the congresswoman in a seat that used to be held by Newt Gingrich. Think about that. A Black woman whose son was murdered. A year after little Jordan died at 17, we lost Big Mike. I mean, it's like we're saying Black Lives Matter, and they do. I said, but heck, I'm a member of the Hands Up, Don't Shoot Club, right? And so as Black mothers, we get it. What we saw in that case, and when Sabrina Martin ran for her local council, in the Miami-Dade area where she lived, and where Mike's mother ran for office out in Ferguson was. It is not enough to protest and to be angry if we don't start changing from the city council to your mayor all the way up to the state house. So how do you activate that? We took the people that empathize with these ladies' positions and we said, that's great, now go vote. You have to change it to be able to change the laws. And so when you look at the number of people, when we go into like Voter Action Network and some of these tools, and we pull up the 37th legislative district, and we look at the number of people who did not vote for either Chikundi or Representative Kirsten Talley Harris, right? Not the people that did, the people who did not. The most gentrified area in Washington state where all the Black wealth and prosperity used to be, we have to ask ourselves, what is wrong with the message that we can't get people to get up and to vote for their own interest? We have to galvanize people and give them a reason to be a part of the process. And part of that is breaking down the barriers to access by saying, I don't care what your educational level is. I don't care whether you have money or not. You could be somebody that's standing on the corner that was like, Paula, I was slinging 10 years ago. What do you want me to do? I want to educate you on social equity, and I want to teach you how to vote and how to contact your representative and who you need to call. Because if you can own your cannabis store, your cannabis business, you are less likely to be breaking the law. We got to encourage people. We got to support people. We got to build mechanisms where people can get engaged and they feel like they can reach out and touch their politicians, but they can also touch their lobbyists and their advocates. That's what we want to do with the Build Back Black Alliance.
Right. And I think that we've seen for a long time now is that there is a lot of people, not only in our community, but we see here across the city of Seattle, people have outsourced leadership. They've outsourced accountability. They've kind of put a lot of things on autopilot. And we also see that even people will be active here in the streets in the city of Seattle. And we saw that around a lot of movements here, especially the defund movement or even the cannabis equity. But when it comes time to show up in Olympia, whether in person beforehand or now on Zoom or for public comment, that a lot of times that energy that's here in the Emerald City doesn't make its way down there to Olympia, and a lot of those voices aren't necessarily heard. But what are you guys doing to be able to really get people engaged and to take that energy that's here in the city and transfer that, especially on the activist level, as you said, down there to Olympia?
We have to deconstruct the process. So last year when we did HB 2870, that bill was brought to me by Black Excellence in Cannabis, Black men who have been locked out of the industry. And I met them because they just picked up the phone, called the commission, which I'm serving as a commissioner there, and they reached out and said, we need some help. And so I just went and I met them. And so I think part of it is, Omari, we have to meet people where they are, and we have to deconstruct the barriers to access, right? Didn't know the guys, didn't know their story. It was compelling. And so I went into a committee and killed two bills. The one bill was actually sponsored by the governor because a group of Black activists said, Paula, this will hurt us. And so once we were able to kill that bill, we had the attention of the industry. We started sending out emails. I said, give me all of the players in cannabis, colored girls in cannabis, Priscilla Ray, like all these different people. And I just got an email and sent them a message and say, hey, I'm a lobbyist. I'm registered with the PDC, but this issue, we're going to work through the African American Commission because we have access to 400,000 Black and African American people, and we can send out a blast. Email me. To this day, Omari, I get about 300 emails a week from community, and I call everyone back. I email people back, but I say, what do you want to see in cannabis? And their voices is how we constructed the first social equity bill and how we have a new cleanup bill going through that, and we have a task force. So I think we have to stop expecting people that have been oppressed to come up with the solutions to their oppression. And those people that have voices and power have to make themselves available to the community. I went down to Langston Hughes. And I stood in the auditorium. I said, I'm either going to get kissed, killed, or both. And I took the incoming, and then I went to the community and I said, I see you, I hear you, I feel your pain. How can I work with you and give you access on a continual basis to make the policies better? Well, what I have right here is a call to action on House Bill 1443 and Senate Bill 5338. These bills are supposed to fix the issues with this cannabis social equity bill, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's kept Black folks out. We had a good bill in the House that, the proponents have watered down a little bit. So what can we do? We can tell the activists to call 1-800-562-6000. Leave a message for Representative Morgan and Senator Saldana and say, we will not accept watered down equity. We will not accept language that is white and patriarchal. Fix the bill. When they get your message, we're going to fix that bill in the Senate. Same thing, Amari, when it comes to House Bill 1236. We're advocating for this today. That bill gives additional protections to renters. Black people are 4% of Washington's population, 4.5, but they're 68% of the renters. This bill will make it virtually impossible for landlords to just put Black mothers and their children on the street. So you've got to call Representative Berquist, Representative Callan, Chapman, Representative Fay, Representative Clova, Representative Lovick, who is African American, Representative Dave Paul, Representative Ramos, who is Hispanic, Alicia Rule, Representative Cindy Ryu, who is Asian, Representative Tana Sen, Representative Sharon Shoemake, Representative Springer, Representative Sullivan, Representative Theringer, and tell them, we want you to vote for this bill. That bill right now is on the House floor. We don't have Democratic votes for the bill. My question to Democrats, we gave you the power and gave you the majority. Why don't you want to keep Black mothers and Black children in their homes? Call your representative and tell them you demand that Black mothers and Black children stay in their homes. Pass the bill. That's how we do it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. We know that in these days, there's some digitization. How is the WBBBA infusing those digital campaigns into what you guys are doing? Is there a way for people, again, when you're talking about breaking down barriers to access, is there a way that people can do all of that by clicking some buttons, sending those emails? How have you guys made it easier for folks?
Absolutely. So we did African American Legislative Day. We worked with the Tacoma Pierce County Black Collective, both of the urban leagues. And so what we try to do is to send out our message and push it out. We also have internal staff that's doing a digital campaign today where we've cut videos that are on our website. We post them on Instagram, but we kind of send out our call to action messages. Now, we've been really, really successful without having to have a really large digital presence because we have a presence in Olympia and they know us. So we can pick up the phone, we can make calls, and we can move bills. If this were an in-person session, we would actually be bussing people down and we would fill up every seat in a community, from community in the hearing room. We did that on the social equity bill, and I was so proud because the chair just looked at all the people and they were like, well, whatever bill they're here on is dead, because there's power in optics. So I can send some stuff to Converge, I can send some stuff to you, Trey, at King County Equity Now, just share some things. And then we just tell you, send this out to the people in your downstream, send it out to community, or come on the show every week and say, hey, the 2 bills of the week are cannabis, social equity, and housing. These are the people that need our attention. And then just call that 800 number. If people don't have digital equity and they can't get on a computer, when you call that number that I gave you, Trey, that is known as the emergency line because they have a hotline. And so that goes directly to their aide. It goes directly to staff. It is an emergency number, even gets you to the governor's office. When you leave a message on that number, they know you mean business because first of all, they're going to say, how did you get it? So we just need community to call that number and leave a message. If it's police accountability, which is House Bills 1054, 1267, 1203, and 1310. 1064 are tactics that will say it is not okay for you to choke us out, to put your knee on our necks, to disperse pepper spray. 1267 says when you do these heinous things, we need an independent office to investigate that death. You look at bills like 1203, we need community oversight, and then we have data and tactics and collection bills. They're a package. One bill does not solve the problem. You have to have all 4. So community, as they're calling, they need to just simply say, pass the police accountability package bills. The legislators already know the bill numbers. They already know what you're talking about. You also need to tell them to pass the economic package. You want to see Black dollars going to the Black communities in the capital budget, and the education budget, and the operation budget, and the transportation budget. Community delivers that message. We are on the Hill talking to the lawmakers, breaking them down by bill numbers, so they'll know exactly what the community means when they say that.
All right, Paula Sardinas, we're gonna have to take you up on your promise and bring you back on here frequently. And let's, I like that, man. What's the bill this week? What do people need to know about? And I mean, and the thing is that I mean, informing the public is important. Some people might support a bill, some people might not, but to be able to give a platform where people have a better understanding of what's down there on the floor in Olympia is important. Want to thank you so much for taking time this morning. We put the links in the chat. Then also Joy put an email address in there as well, so I know that people will be in touch with you soon.
And I want to say, you guys are kings and queens. At the end of the day, we all work for you. And so if you don't like the job that we're doing, the community can fire us by saying, hey, I don't like what you're doing. Hold us accountable. We need more accountability from community.
Music to
Got it. Yeah, we have no problem with that.
Thank you, Paula. Have a wonderful Feel Good Friday.
Thank you, guys. Bye, guys.
Paula Sardinas.
I mean, I'm over here in my seat and I'm like, man, talk about a feel good Friday, because oftentimes we need to understand exactly what's going on. And sometimes people get lost in the jargon. Oh, and I love how she just kept it 100%. I love how she said, look, keep us accountable, hold us accountable, and make sure that you're staying a part of the process. But they're breaking it down, make it easy for us. You know, please, again, that number, 1-800-562-6000. Give it a call. Let them know what you want them to be passing and moving on. Brilliant.
So that's the hotline right there. Where you get the number? Watching Converge. We're going to take a quick break right now. We see Dre's is in the green room. We're going to come back and talk Building Black Wealth TV with him. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us. Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right. See that high camera get you.
Gotta get it in real quick.
Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. Before we get going on this segment here with Dre's, want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you who are supporting Converge Media. You literally do keep us on the air. Big shout out to our $5 Army. It's a great opportunity. It's Feel Good Friday. Something that might make you feel good today is if you haven't had a chance and an opportunity to donate to Converge, you can go to whereweconverge.com/donate. That being said, please bring in Dre's.
Hey.
What's happening, family?
Oh, big bro.
What's up, y'all?
How are you, Dre's?
Man, I'm good, man. Little Palm Springs, man, down here chilling. You know, I see we're all over the country right now, man, but doing it for the town always, you know? So
yeah. Well, it's good to have you here this morning. And I always got to tell people ask that our theme song, I guess you say at this point, right? Seattle's Own, as that's your song.
Hey, it's our song, man. You know what I mean?
I'm about to say, I'm not giving it back. It's ours now.
Yeah, it's our song, man. But you know what? To me, the movement of Converge just embodies the song. And so the song was obviously about me being Seattle's own, but it's about all of us being Seattle's own. It's not just me. Shout out to the great singer from the town, O.T. Terry. He's on the song as well. He's the voice singing, I did it for the city. I did it for the love. You know what I mean? So we just wanted to put something that kind of felt like an anthem. And if you ever get a chance to hear the song, people, it is on SoundCloud. You just go look up Seattle's Own Dre's. and you can download it. It's a free download, but what's dope is at the end of it, we have a part where we get to shout out like 30 different Seattle rappers. So it was also about showing love, not just to myself, but to, you know, from Macklemore to Gifted Gab to, you know, there's so many, not just rappers, you know, but DJs and different people who we were able to shout out, DV1 and Ghetto Prez and all these different people. So showing love to the town.
You know, DJs, I just got to go wide real fast, all you, because you know we got DJ Topspin in the house.
Hey, quiet as kept, man. Top is like, if you're talking about mixing up a party, yeah, Top's at the top, like, because his blends are just, they're insane. If you've ever just been at a spot and just heard him just like real DJ and just do what he does, you walk out of it and be like, yo, man, I had a good time because of the DJ, which is really, really hard to do, you know?
Appreciate that, brother. That's always the mission, you know.
So you talked about spreading love, and one thing we talk about is building Black Wealth TV. Now I'm out of studio, so we're gonna try to if you could bring in that screen share, Aya, from your side. There it is. And then from my side here, maybe I'll press play.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Am I right now? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Am I right now? Come on. Listen. Hey, for those who don't know, it's the Station Cafe. I'm not just talking about it. I told you. I said, am I right now? I got listen. I was there today. You guys wasn't there, but I was there.
I did work. When I'm off, I'm off. And I run the hell on out of there. So you came when I was off. I was there today for sure.
I'm not bad. But talk to me really about how you guys got started in business doing the Station Cafe. And wait, first tell them where you guys are located and tell us how you guys got started.
Hello. We are on Beacon Hill, one of the best neighborhoods in Seattle, right next to the light rail station, which is where we got our name. We opened 10 years ago. 11 years ago, 2010.
We see right there, I think she got brought audio back. What we see right there, just a small snippet, some of both, from building Black Wealth TV. And we've seen you do this quite a few times now. I remember you did a special with the Seahawks. You actually partnered with the Seahawks. The last time we had you on, we played some clips of some of the former Seahawks and current ones that are business owners, as well as other local businesses. In this edition of Building Black Wealth TV, you were there with the station, but who are some of the other, what are some of the other businesses that appear on this upcoming episode?
I'm glad you asked. I'm excited. So a lot of people know that African Americans spend about $1.2 trillion annually in this country. And there was a recent study that came out and said by the year 2050, the wealth of African Americans in America is set to bottom out at zero. And so the idea is we're going to have money. We're going to have jobs. You're going to be going to work, but you're not going to own a home. You're not going to have wealth. And to reverse the trend, we always talk about gentrification. Your last guest was talking about that. I started thinking, what could we do? We got $1.2 trillion flowing through our hands. That would be one of the top 10 countries in the entire world. So it ain't that we don't got money. There's a mental thing in how we spend money. So last Juneteenth, we created this show, Building Black Wealth. And the whole goal is just to inspire people to spend money with Black businesses. My philosophy is people knew better, they do better. A lot of people say they want to ally with Black communities, or even Black people say, if I knew more Black restaurants or Black t-shirt companies or Black cell phone companies, I would support them. Well, on Building Black Wealth, all I'm doing is trying to expose you to businesses you don't know. This new episode that we are going to be having on Converge Media next week, I'm real excited about because it features all Seattle restaurants that you may not know. We have the Station Cafe, which you just saw on Beacon Hill. We've got Pizza Addict, which is a pizza company down in Renton. They're actually doing fried pizza crust. If you've never tried it, I get to try it live on air. It's fire. You guys need to go check it out. And then, a new Central District classic, I'll say. I know classic usually ties back to years ago, but Communion is a new restaurant in the city. I know Converge covered it, but this is one that our whole community loved. Beyond Body is doing like these sea moss drinks. And I know they just launched like a sea moss ices as well. So we're going into summertime. You'll be able to get your healthy sea moss. It's COVID season and all this other stuff. People want to be healthy. Their sea moss drinks are amazing. amazing. I couldn't even believe it. No sugar added, and the drink was awesome. In addition to that, we have Fats Chicken and Waffles. We had to go classic with Fats Chicken and Waffles. Can't go wrong. And then there's a restaurant in the North End called Mojito, which has been around over 20 years, Black-owned restaurant, doing Caribbean food. So it's a action-packed it's an action-packed show. I will say, have your credit card ready. Be ready to DoorDash if you're going to watch it because you're going to be hungry.
All
I'm
right.
already hungry. My mouth is salivating right now. I'm like, ooh, mojito. I'm listening for all the ones I don't know because honestly, I am a person who almost always tries to spin black when I can. So I'm so thankful that you have launched this show, and I'm really thankful that you're showcasing restaurants, my friend, on Converge. We normally have Food Friday, so it looks like there's a couple of restaurants we're gonna have to hit up.
We have to get after that. Now the website is what? buildingblackwealth.tv.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you can go there if you want. Go to buildingblackwealth.tv. All of the episodes will be there. Also, all of the businesses that we showcase are there. So if you missed something and you want to come back to it, or you don't know where something is, you'll be able to go back to Building Black Wealth TV and check out all the restaurants.
All right. So I'll say this and give everybody a heads up that Tuesday, 7:00, the latest episode of Building Black Wealth TV with the restaurants that Dre's just named will be on air Tuesday at 7:00. Appreciate you joining us for Feel Good Friday, Dre's.
Peace and love, y'all. Building Black Wealth. See y'all next week.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Yeah, now Dre's has stayed committed on that. His Building Black Wealth. He's just always someone who's been opening doors for well beyond like himself. He continuously is open doors. We're going to take a real short merch break right now. When we come back, we have the culture creator himself, DJ Topspin, in the building. You are watching the Morning Update Show. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. You saw right there in our merch break, and we have the zip hoodies in. According to producer Nikki Barron, this is the most favorite piece of Converge merchandise. Just got a big order in. You can go to whereweconverge.com/shop. Now, Triana, you got a guest in the studio with you, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad that Top is here to give us a bit more about what's going on this weekend. Oh, yeah, let's get to the wide and bring Top in with us.
Need it from the top.
Hey, I'm top of the morning, as it were.
Yeah, so I'm here with you. I'm not going to look there. I'm going to look at you. But please give us a little bit about what's going on with you this weekend. I know you have a couple hot spots you're going to be hitting up. Let the folks know.
Yeah, tonight, as a matter of fact, I will be DJing back at Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club. The owner himself is headlining, so you can catch these hands beforehand, both the 7 and the 9 p.m. show. As he continues to plow forward with his success. And you can also catch me tomorrow in Columbia City at Taco City, Taquiera. I'll be DJing with DJ Polo as he holds down Saturday nights there. Same COVID capacity percentage. It was, 25% and masked up whatnot, but a real good time. My man DJ Supreme spun there last week. I'll be on decks tomorrow.
Nice.
And I also have a brunch this particular Sunday. But I try to keep my hands full. Man. And speaking of hands full, also check my socials today. I'll be dropping my brand new remix tape, the video mixtape, as well as the standalone files associated on my Bandcamp at djtopspin.bandcamp.com. And big ups to Dre's, who shouted me out as far as Party Rocket. I definitely had a blast. I try to have a blast every time, but I was in my bag last Feel Good Friday for the Soul of Seattle event with Questlove, and high quality restream of that by the professional cameras should hit my socials sometime soon as well.
Nice. So the ways that people can really catch up with you, we can figure out where you're at on your socials.
For the most part, I mean, Topspin Instagram is on my Instagram, like Topspin's Instagram, and at DJ Topspin on Twitter, and then just Google Topspin or Blendiana as far as Facebook. And I'll probably put it up on YouTube as well. But there's only one Blendiana, so that search should probably catch me. You know?
Awesome.
Right in the top.
Yep.
The we have a few, and I know I always got to tell you this is live TV, man, because I know you can go and log and explanations here, but we always got new viewers here, man. Maybe you can take a second and kind of explain your sound and your style.
Well, I have a Panamanian mother and a Jamaican father, so the rhythms of the diaspora are always sort of in my toolbox. I kind of like to lean on polyrhythms, reggae, but I'm a hip hop and R&B sort of head, and in the Mary J. Blige sort of type of way, or Kid Capri type of way. I like putting vocals over instrumentals, or just the meaning and meshing of those, and playing with harmony that occurs naturally. So along with your favorites, I like to put a harmonic spin on songs you forgot about, and just bring them back to life with new harmonic musical tapestries.
Oh my gosh. And look, just like I said before, I mean, those of you who know Top, he's also an amazing whistler.
The turntable whistler is now a thing too. I mean, like I said, like I have said, I was raised in a house with a professional tenor, so proper tones always in my ear. So I've added a whistling sort of an element to my DJ sets too. You can check those out on my tip jar mixes, which are the mixes that started out with the morning show a year ago on my Mixcloud, DJ Topspin, aka Blendiana Jones. Just Google me and follow my frequency.
And speaking of that, and tip jar, and everything else, Top March 19th marks 1 year anniversary for the morning update show. We're gonna have a special show that evening. I think probably from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I think you're gonna show up and show out, right?
Oh, for sure, man. I'm, this is a platform I value, people I value, and we're definitely gonna take this higher and even peel off the layer of what's going to emerge as Converge Music.
Yeah.
The Converge Music platform. So you're definitely gonna see me here flexing that muscle.
Right on.
About the music.
Man, every time Top is in here, the energy is just right, man. I appreciate you for making sure that Top was with me all throughout the show. And Top, I just want to say thank you, man. He's been holding it down right there in my seat. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing his thing over there.
Why not come here and feel good in person?
Yeah.
Good stuff. That sweater might have you feeling good too, Triana.
It's right. He came with it, man.
Little vintage iceberg.
Good stuff. All right. Before we get out of here, Trey, any last words?
Man, I just got to say, you know what, y'all, make it a great Friday. And if you guys did not get those feel good vibes when all of our guests were here today, I just got to uplift Miss Paula Sardinas. I mean, honestly, I've been saying it. O has his thing. My thing is, you guys got to see yourselves as a part of the solution, man. Get involved. I know she fired me up. I hope she fired y'all up.
Good stuff. I think, let's see, programming notes here, man. It's Friday. It's finally Friday. Finally get some rest. I don't think we have anything on this week. Oh, Truly Unruly. So we have Truly Unruly, Marcus True Font, their show, in which they continue. They just keep getting better and better and better. And that's Sunday at 8:00 for Truly Unruly. That being the case, as usual, I want to remind you to go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until Monday at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.